You know, every different season or stage the bass goes through has its own set of unique challenges. It also has its benefits, and pre-spawn's no different. You know, some of the challenges to pre-spawn fishing is fish change daily. They move so much this time of year. Constantly new fish coming in, fish that's already here is pushing on further back to spawn. So the changes in being able to keep up with the fish can be challenging during the pre-spawn time of year. But the benefit of it is when you find them, it's a fresh fish, what we call a fresh wave. They just came there, they just moved there because they're constantly moving. They just moved in that area. Typically, they're very hungry. They're willing to bite, and that's the biggest benefit. They weigh the most, they're gonna weigh all year, and they're willing to bite. To me, it's that time of year. Pre-spawn fishing, I love it. It's challenging to keep up with the fish. You're gonna have probably the best stretch of fishing you have all year. So we are in South Carolina on Lake Murray. It's about 2 hours from my house. Haven't fished down here a whole lot, but it's one of the best lakes in the country, especially during the pre-spawn time of year. It's cold this morning. It's March. Pre-spawn in the southeast on Lake Murray. Typically, early in the mornings, I like to start cranking. Right now, I'm cranking the new 1.5 hard knot, not just the regular 1.5, but the hard knot, because it rattles, and I really like that rattle in colder pre-spawn situations. Just seems like it might trigger 1 or 2 more bites. So it's early. We just started in the back of a little creek that's got a little bit of color in the water, and we're cranking down the bank. It's gonna be a long day on Lake Murray. We're gonna start early by cranking. As the day progresses, then we may switch over to a jig and start flipping these docks. Lake Murray is one of the best dock lakes in the country, especially this time of year. So stay with us. Lake Murray, South Carolina, pre-spawn bass fishing. There he is. Oh, I like a jig bite, but man, there's something about a crankbait bite. Get your butt out from under that boat. Loosen up my drag a little bit. He ain't that big. Got us a hard knot bite though. He looked like he had a rough day. Little, but fun. Pre-spawn fishing basically means we're catching fish they're staging to spawn. And there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different things they stage on. Sometimes they stage on points, they stage on docks, they stage on boat ramps, they stage on whatever. What you're doing is you're targeting fish that's coming up here. They're feeding right now, and they're fixing to spawn. As soon as this water gets a little bit warmer, you know, we're in the mid-50s now. As soon as the water gets a little bit warmer, the length of the day gets right, these fish are going to spawn. So today, what I'm looking for is places they're staging up. They're sitting there, they're feeding, ambush spots, waiting to be able to go on up to the bank and spawn. And a lot of time, a good staging place will be close to a spawning area, you know, at the mouth of a pocket or at the mouth of a bay. You know, we're in the back of a creek here, and then we got a line of docks, it's got a few boat ramps, but all of this is good spawning habitat, and even behind me that you can't see. So they're feeding up right now, and we hope that they feed on our hard knocks and jigs the rest of the day. We've caught a few. Oh, I thought I had one right there. We've caught a few. This is also the time of year, you know, pre-spawn is also the time of year when fish are gonna weigh the most. It's also the time of year that's pretty easy to identify which ones are the males and the females. The females are gonna be extremely fat, and they're gonna weigh the most this time of year. They're gonna weigh all year. So it's by far the best time of year to catch the biggest bass of the year, or to catch your biggest bass of the whole year, is during the pre-spawn. Jiggy, 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 where you be? Oh, God. Stay on there, you big sucker. Yo, hot dog Betsy. Look, you got that skipping jig choke too. Come here, you big joker. Ain't that fun? Look at that. That's when you know you got the right stuff. That's fun. That was a light bite though. That's a lot of times this time of year they'll knock the crap out of it. Pretty light bite, but fun. So he's still a little cold, but it's only what, 9 o'clock? We tried cranking this morning with the hard knot. We caught a couple little ones. We picked up the old skipping jig. And again, I talked about how we know for sure this is a female. Look how fat. Slam full of eggs. So that's a female. Just moved up here staging. You see the dock right there. Back there is where she's probably gonna spawn. So she's staging here, feeding up, fixing to spawn. Problem for her, she fed on my skipping jig. False alarm. One of them wannabes. Oh shoot, about to break my rod. Another wannabe. Like a little color change here. You can change your whole jig profile by just changing your color of your trailer. I don't know if they teach this in film school to talk with a raised bug in your mouth, but I do it anyway. I like to bite off about 5 rings. I've been using straight green pumpkin. This is actually a newer color called blue crawl. So it adds a little blue to my jig, and it also adds a little bit of red. You know, red pre-spawn is a big deal. We throw red thunder crickets, red crankbaits. If the water's super dirty, I'll throw a red spinnerbait. And blue in a jig has always been one of my favorite colors too. Best jig color ever was probably a black and blue jig. So this is just a way to add a little bit of red, a little bit of blue to my green pumpkin jig. If you watched the show last year on Lake Wiley, this was the exact setup I caught most of the fish on. Just a little bit of red, a little bit of blue on a green pumpkin jig. Again, you can change the color of your trailer and change the whole profile of your jig. The water's a little bit off color, so I'm gonna add me a little bit of blue, a little bit of red, see if we can't get us one. Get on in there. Go. Yo. Oh, he come off. Son of a gun. Gosh, that was a big one. Can we use a lost fish? I feel like I just lost the 8-pounder in the bass tournament. This is just a little old TV show. I feel bad for the net. Oh! Come on! God, that's fun. He's a 3-pounder. Oh. Uh-oh, hold on, buddy. Hold on, buddy. Hold on. I want to show you to the world. Look at that pretty 3-pounder. Huh? Check this out. Look at that dock. All the poles and different stuff. That's where they live. So that's why it's key to have good line, good rod, all the above. That's fun, man. I just lose my train of thought when they go toom, toom. If y'all notice, when they go toom, it makes me go toom, toom. So what I do as soon as I get it out of the pack is I like to trim up the skirt right behind the hook shank. See, my skirt's just, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch below the hook shank. I don't know if it makes a difference, that's his preference. I also like to trim the weed guard at a 45-degree angle. And now you're ready. Big old beautiful hook. Get your raised bug. Again, I know we went over this several times, but bite off of about 5 rings. This is one of the best parts of the skipping jig is the screw lock keeper. I don't know, can you see that? That's the deal. That eliminated super glue. It eliminated me gluing my fingers together and all that. And all you do is put your bug on there. When you put it up, you just have to twist it on. It takes about 4 or 5 wraps. Don't over twist it, just twist it right up. And now that bug is there. See? It will not come off. I didn't have to use super glue. You know, you're putting a lot of pressure on your baits when you're skipping like I'm skipping, and that screw lock is one of the most important features of the Strike King skipping jig, in my opinion. Uh-oh. That's a good one. You all stay on there, you big joker, you. Don't want to hit the pontoon. You all lay. Go. Look, that jig gone. Gone. How about that? Ah, that's pre-spawn bass fishing. We haven't got a lot of bites today. We hung a couple like this that whooped us, but that big old joker did not whoop us. Look at that. Again, female. And check this out. So, spawning back here. I'm at the mouthful pocket. This is actually the first dock coming in. Look at that. Stud. Probably 5.5, possibly 6. Look how thick they are this time of year. Their tails are thick. That gives me the heebie-jibbies. I mean, gives me the heebie-jibbies. I got a feeling that it's gonna be a lot of jig action, a lot of skipping jig. This is perfect condition for pre-spawn bass, staging up on these docks, getting ready to go spawn, and man, it's fun. This is the time of year that you can skip that jig under the dock and catch your biggest dock bass ever. I got my loose shirt in my... God, they fun. He beat up, look like he done spawned. How about that? Pre-spawn, you don't get a whole lot of bites, but when you do, look at that. And that ain't even what I would call a big one, but he's so heavy, I bet he weighs 3.5. And on a scale of 1 to 10, on how fun he was a 10.5. Stay on there, you big sucker, you. Yo. Oh, we ate that jig too. Well, we wish they'd all done that today. Check that out. Man, they're starting to bite. Oh, can't get it out. Ain't that pretty? Watch this. Pulling it out of the mouth. Check that out. That fish was up shallow. You know, all day we fished kind of out, and we kind of eased back in the back of a pocket a little bit further along than I expected the fish to be, but the fish don't always read that handbook. Bye-bye, baby. Uh-oh. Get your butt out from under there. Look at that big old fat Prespawn fish. Check that out. Now he ain't big that way. Look at that belly, huh? That's what they look like in the Prespawn. That's actually a female, not a great big female, but a female. Weighs a lot. That's probably a 2.5, maybe even 2 3/4 pounds, but they are some kind of fun this time of year. They mean. They've been sitting in that old cold water and built up them old muscles, and you ram that big jig hook through his jaw and he wants to fight. To me, even though the challenge of keeping up with fish and keeping up with the constantly moving fish during the Prespawn time of year are far outweighed by the benefit of being able to catch the biggest bass of the year, and they're hungry. So you can catch them. It's that time of year. Prespawn fishing, I love it. It's challenging to keep up with the fish. One tip that I would probably give is go out there with the open mind. You know, a lot of these tournaments, the local tournaments now, they have week off limits. And some of my buddies, you know, they're going the Friday, Saturday before to practice for a tournament that's gonna be a week away. And this time of year, that can be bad, because really 100% of the time, the fish are gonna change within a week. Don't put too much thought into what you did last week, or don't put too much thought into what you did 2 days ago. Go out there with the open mind, keep looking for them, and when you find them, you're gonna have probably the best stretch of fishing you have all year. Dang, it'll be one right there. Oh, ah. Talk to me, big boy. Dang, that's fun. He's not a giant. He's nothing like swinging on a big old Prespawn bass. Cool. Stay on there, big joker, you. He's trying to get the old jiggy out of his mouth. He's fun. Not big, but fun. Them's the ones you throw back really fast, and you go right back in there. Jump, boy. Trying out for the Olympics. I mean, Prespawn fishing, I'm not sure there's such a thing as a little one, huh? Dang, that's fun. You know, it's been a long day on Lake Murray. I'm gonna talk a little bit about my setup today. And as you can see, I hope you've seen some of the over the shoulder shots of seeing just how far I'm skipping these baits and really making long skips away from the boat, trying not to spook these fish. Sometimes you get tight, sometimes I turn and I need to make a long skip. That's all about my setup. At Lose and Strike King, we design stuff specifically for skipping. And it's the entire setup. You know, we're the only company that has a reel specifically designed for skipping, and this is the Lose Pro SP skipping pitching reel. It's got a shallow spool. I was very influential in the design process to make something that's really not gonna backlash much. It's gonna help you skipper. If you're already a good skipper, it's gonna help you make longer skips. If you wanna learn to skip, it's gonna help you learn to skip without the frustration. And I paired it with my Lew's Signature Series skipping rod. And what makes a good skipping rod? Well, you need a lot of backbone down here to hook the fish. As you've seen today, we hooked some way up underneath these docks. So I need a lot of backbone to get the hook into the fish to get him out. So I need a lot of backbone. But number one, you gotta get the bite. You gotta get the bait under there. So that's where the tip comes in. As you can see, got a lot of tip. That tip's gonna shoot that skipping jig way under there, and that's fine. That's where I need to get the bite, but I got the backbone to get the hook in the fish and to get him out. Paired with a Strike King skipping jig, this is the complete skipping setup. It's something I'm very, very proud of. I hope you've seen today some of the pretty impressive skips you can make with this outfit. Skipping reel, skipping rod, skipping jig. Time to go back to skipping. Cool. Ah, look, he got it choked. The jig is gone. Look at that fat sucker. He's not long, but see how fat he is? Prespawn. God, he was fun. He got that. God. Ha! That's so much fun. It don't matter how long you go without a bite. When you finally hear that, toom, makes you go, toom, makes you go, oh. Ah, that's fun. Jump, big boy, jump. Come on up in here. Look how fat that fish is. Cool. Ah, Prespawn bass fishing. Oh man, what a day on Lake Murray. As you can see, the sun's going down. It's good to get a bite at the end of the day. You know, today was a very interesting day. Started out slow, and then we kept hitting these little bitty spurts where for like an hour the fish would bite and I'd catch several, caught some big ones, had a really good day, but it was interesting to see how they would just bite in spurts, you know, just these little hour, 30-minute spurts where I would catch multiple fish and then go an hour without a bite. But still, what a day on Lake Murray. We've been to one end of this sucker to the other. As you've seen today, upper end, some smaller houses. Now we've worked our way back down to the more developed part of the lake, bigger houses. So just what a day. What a day on Lake Murray. Prespawn bass fishing in the southeast is my favorite time of year to fish. The fish are the biggest, they're hungry, and this is the time of year that you're gonna catch the biggest bass of the entire year. Thanks for following today. I'm tired, the sun's going down, and Andy's going down.